I renovated a tiny house, and I'd like to share 3 challenges I overcame when converting a commercial space into my tiny home. I was challenged with creating a private space for my son, wood paneling, and my biggest challenge, creating a functional bathroom out of a space that was only 5 foot 8 inches by 4 foot 11 inches. I came up with a super creative and environmentally friendly solution for the bathroom. It does involve reusing toilet water, but stick around to find out what I did. And if you stay to the end, I'll show you the before and after. Here's an update. The ceiling has all been removed, the insulation. And taking the trim off the windows, taking down those weird pegboards. That's the bathroom. Taking off the whatever walls were there. Yeah, now working on the floor. Took off a few tiles. Tiny houses are typically under 500 square feet, with some being as small as 100 square feet. My tiny house is 322 square feet. Tiny houses generally have a small footprint, efficient space, and they're affordable and offer a minimalist lifestyle. Some tiny houses are even on wheels. I found out some very interesting facts about the history of my house. Turns out it was originally the office for a dairy business called the Model Dairy. I found out about the history by discovering a half-burnt newspaper clipping under the radiator. I did some online research and found out it was owned by a former World War II vet who purchased it and ran the dairy from 1946 until 1976. It was then purchased and used as a dog grooming business. I know this because there was so much dog hair in the attic that I mistook it for insulation. I encountered 3 big obstacles, and I'll share them with you and how I overcame them. The first obstacle I encountered was creating a private space for my teenage son. I met with a contractor and decided to put in a tiny loft. The loft is 13 by 23, and it's only used for sleeping. Tackling the loft was one of the hardest parts of my reno. The contractor framed the loft, and I planned to insulate, drywall, spackle, paint, and put in the flooring. I am almost 6 feet tall, so working in this cramped space all day long was awful. I ended up hiring the contractor to finish the drywall and put down the floor. Here's a quick video of me putting the insulation in the loft area. Once the loft was done, I had to figure out how to access it. I tried to build a bookcase staircase, and it was an epic fail. This was my first real carpentry project, and an ambitious project at that. I framed it out and then made the error of posting a picture of the stairs on Facebook to a carpentry group, and my ego got ripped to shreds. So I called in the professionals again, and he built me a lovely set of stairs. Now the bookcase staircase is a room divider. Let's go back for a minute. So before I even had the loft built, I had to take everything down to the studs. I really enjoyed the demo process until I found out that the ceiling joists were rotted and they all had to be replaced. Once I got through that nightmare, I was challenged with what to do with the wood paneling. This was my second biggest obstacle. I had to decide if I would keep the wood paneling or tear it out. The problem I encountered is that the house is made of concrete cinder blocks. There wasn't enough space between the concrete and the wood paneling to insulate. I overcame this obstacle by installing drywall right over the existing wood panels. Yeah, I got a lift. That's my drywall. That's my lift. There's Mr. I insulated. I put the drywall up. Excuse that big gap. Just pretend that's not there. Yeah, I'm doing the thing. If I could do it all over again, would I handle it the same way? No. I would have taken the time to remove the wood paneling, added furring strips, and insulated it properly. The winters here are cold and my electric bill is high. And finally, the last obstacle, the bathroom. There really was no place to put a sink because the walls are thin, so running a plumbing line is nearly impossible. So I scoured the internet and I found this as a solution. It's an awesome little sink that cost me only $75. It's called the Sink Positive Green Flow. And how it works is it replaces the toilet tank cover and it uses the tank's refilling operation to pump fresh water out of the faucet and drains it into the toilet for flushing. It's quite genius. Now you have seen the top 3 challenges around creating a private space for my son, dealing with the wood paneling, and creating a bathroom. During this renovation, I pushed myself to physical and mental limits that made me stronger. I cried, I celebrated, I cried some more, I persevered, and I learned. And now I invite you to enjoy the before and after tour of my beautiful tiny home. Alright, here is the house so far. So let's do a quick tour. Still a bit messy. So there's the stairs, which are now going to be a bookshelf. I'll tell you why later. The floor is going to be going in tomorrow. I decided I'm not going to do it by myself. This is the kitchen area. And this is the bathroom. Why every time I try to make a video does it still look like it's under construction? Oh wait, because it is. These are the lights that I'm trying to get in the little holes. And these are the amazing stairs that were built. I did not build them, and they lead up to the lovely loft. So I'll continue on this journey. Those walls don't look half bad, right? Take a look. What? Smooth like a baby's booty.